Hi, it's Hinda and welcome to Cooking Fantasies. Today's video is a very special one as we will be making these beautiful and delicious French cakes called Financiers that are made mainly of almond flour and hazelnut butter. And I will be showing you how to make them in different shapes and flavors. In this part 1 video, I will be showing you how to bake and flavor your Financiers, and there will be another part 2 video on how to garnish them. All the ingredients you're gonna need I will leave down in the description box, and these are the ingredients for one batch, and I will be making one batch for each shape and flavor. We will start by these beautiful simple plain almond financiers, and we're gonna start of course by making our hazelnut butter, as this is a key ingredient in our recipe. Hazelnut butter is basically a caramelized butter that will smell and taste like hazelnut after being burned. So past the boiling point, cook the butter until the milk particles start burning and soaking to the bottom. And you know it's ready when the sound it makes while cooking starts fading off. Then sieve it immediately and allow it to cool on the side. And let's prepare the rest of the ingredients. So in a bowl, mix all the dry ingredients, the almond flour, the icing sugar and the flour. Now add the egg whites, the vanilla extract, and keep stirring together until all the egg whites are totally incorporated. And as you might have noticed, this recipe doesn't contain any baking powder because the result is a moist and chewy texture. And now finally it's time to add the hazelnut butter we have prepared that has had enough time to cool. And at this point you will notice the nice flavor and aroma coming out of the butter. It tastes and smells exactly like hazelnut. So use just your spatula to incorporate it into the mixture we have already prepared. And as easy as that is the batter already ready. Now cover it with some plastic wrap and place it in the fridge for up to one night. Of course you can skip this part if you don't have time, but the longer you're gonna leave it in the fridge, the better it will taste. I chose to use here this basic round silicone molds, but this is a personal choice. You can use whatever molds you prefer, and I have slightly buttered them. If you are using the same molds, you can add about 1 tablespoon of butter in each one. And if you are using any other molds, you can fill them almost to the top. And finally, I will add some almond flakes on the top. My oven is preheated to 180 degrees Celsius. That's 356 degrees Fahrenheit, and they're gonna need about 12 minutes until they're ready. And an important tip, always use metal sheets under your silicone molds because they help to diffuse the heat more evenly. And as easy as that, our first almond financiers are ready. They look, smell and taste so beautiful. And for our second variety, we're gonna make orange financiers with dark chocolate and lemon ones with white chocolate. And this time I made the very same batch of butter I made earlier for the almonds one, and I'm gonna divide it to flavor the half with lemon and the other half with orange. And of course this is just a personal choice and just me trying to show you the many options. You can go everything orange or everything lemon, or you can double the batch. It's all up to you. So as I was saying, the first half I flavored with lemon zest, and the second half I flavored with dried orange peels. But this is an option. You can also use fresh lemon zest, it's even better. And again, cover your butter and allow it to set for some time in the fridge. And here I prefer to use these square molds because they have this little space in the middle in which I will be adding some lemon and orange cream. But this is again a personal choice and you can totally skip it. You can also use the very same first molds we used for the almond ones. So we're gonna need about 1 full tablespoon of butter, and since I divided one butter, I'm gonna be adding the half in lemon and the half in orange. You might have noticed that this batter is quite thicker than the other one. It's because it had enough time to sit in the fridge longer. So the longer you leave your batter in the fridge, the harder it will get. And very important, give it a few taps against the table to help it spread better. And now what I'm gonna do, which I didn't do before, is cover the cakes with parchment paper and then put another metal sheet on top of it. And I do this because I don't want them to rise, as I will be using the other side of them, and I want them to sit nicely on my plate. And again, baking time 12 minutes in 180 degrees Celsius, that's 365 degrees Fahrenheit, for about 12 to 15 minutes. And as you see, it is always easy to remove them from the silicone molds if you slightly butter it before adding the batter. And now it's time to make my favorites, the Tiger Chocolate Financiers with chocolate ganache filling. And again, we're gonna use the very same recipe and the very same batch we prepared before, to which we're gonna add 50 grams of chocolate vermicelli. And please do not substitute with chopped chocolate because it will melt and diffuse and you will not get this nice tiger pattern. And of course, after it has had its share in the fridge, we're gonna start filling our molds. And I went this time for these nice round ones with these holes in the middle to be able to fill them later with our chocolate ganache. And then again, follow the very same instructions we just did for the previous ones to bake them. And our next variety is this beautiful white chocolate and apricot marbled financiers. And to our same batter this time, we're going to be adding dried apricot that we have cut into small pieces. And because they tend to stick together when you cut them into small pieces, try to add the half incorporated before adding in the other half. You can find the dried apricots in the supermarkets, maybe in the nuts section, and try to go for the quite soft ones and not too dry. And it is exactly the very same procedure we did for the previous ones. We're gonna fill our molds after we have slightly battered them. And since we're making the very same batter for each kind or variety, the number of pieces you're gonna end up with depends, because not all the molds take in the same quantity of batter, and all these details and the number of pieces you will get eventually I will leave down in the description box with the ingredients. And last but not least are these beautiful raspberry and pistachio heart financiers. And this time I used frozen raspberries, and I also suggest you to do so. But if you prefer to use fresh ones, you can of course do so, but do not do it before allowing your batter to sit in the fridge. Do it right before starting to fill in your molds and sending it to the oven. Otherwise, you will end up with more like a raspberry puree into the batter, and it will be too runny to bake nicely and take the nice shape of the molds. And again, I'm gonna bake my hearts and my marbled ones with parchment paper and a metal sheet on top, because I don't want them to rise, as I will be using the other side of them to decorate. And just like the previous ones, bake in a 180 degrees Celsius, that's 356 degrees Fahrenheit preheated oven for about 12 to 15 minutes. And then allow them to cool before we proceed with garnishing them and prepare the different creams and chocolates we're going to need for that. And this we will do together in the part 2 video, which you can watch here. But before you go there, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it before. And I thank you for watching and see you very soon in the part 2.